in the high-octane, ego-driven atmosphere of 1980s and 90s Hollywood, where stars were often consumed by the relentless pursuit of the next multi-million-dollar contract and global adoration, Rick Moranis stood as a profound and gentle anomaly, a comedic genius who conquered the silver screen without ever losing his tether to reality. To the public, he was the quintessential everyman, the quirky, lovable intellectual whose presence in cinematic staples like Ghostbusters, Spaceballs, and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids turned him into a global icon of the VSR era. He possessed a rare, self-deprecating magnetism that made him a household staple. Yet beneath the red carpets and the deafening roar of the crowd, his entire world was anchored by a quiet, fierce devotion to his wife, Ann Belsky. They were the rare Hollywood anomaly, a couple that prioritized the sanctity of their private life over the artificial allure of industry prestige. However, this beautiful reality was shattered in 1991 when Anne tragically lost her battle with cancer, leaving Rick at the absolute peak of his career sitting on an S-tier status that offered limitless wealth facing the most agonizing crossroad of his life. Suddenly, the blinding lights of movie sets felt hollow, and the laughter of millions of strangers sounded like a distant echo compared to the heartbreaking silence of a home that had lost its heartbeat. The true turning point came in 1997, shortly after the release of Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. While the industry and his agents expected him to sign on to his next slate of blockbuster hits, Moranis did something truly radical and unheard of in the annals of show business. He simply stopped. There was no dramatic press conference, no tearful retirement tour, and no farewell media blitz. He simply walked away from the fame, the money, and the prestige to become a full-time, stay-at-home father. For decades, the industry was baffled, whispering rumors about his disappearance and speculating on why a man at the height of his powers would vanish into thin air, but the truth was both simple and revolutionary. Rick Moranis had realized that while any talented actor could play a role in a Hollywood movie, nobody else on earth could play the role of a father to his two grieving children. He traded the scripted applause of the world for the unscripted, grueling, and often unglamorous daily grind of school runs, grocery shopping, and being a steady, present force at the dinner table. He chose to become a ghost in the industry, so he could be a living hero in his own hallway, proving that true sacrifice is not a single, grand heroic gesture, but 1,000 small, selfless choices made every single morning for the sake of those who need you most. As the years stretched into decades, a new generation grew up wondering what had happened to the man with the infectious wit and the iconic glasses. But as the digital age dawned, his story resurfaced not as a tragedy of lost potential, but as a soaring beacon of modern fatherhood and unbreakable integrity. In a world increasingly obsessed with hustle culture, the accumulation of social media followers, and the pursuit of fame at any cost, Rick Moranis' life became a powerful act of quiet rebellion against the status quo. Whenever he was asked in rare late-career interviews if he harbored any regrets about leaving the spotlight at his peak, his answer remained a consistent, peaceful, and unwavering no. He didn't miss the fame because he had discovered something far more fulfilling, a legacy built on genuine human connection and the successful raising of his children rather than the temporary glow of celluloid. By 2006, as he began to make very selective, late-career appearances on his own terms, such as the highly anticipated discussions around a Spaceballs Return, the world finally fully grasped the lesson he had been teaching through his absence. Success is not defined by the size of your bank account, the number of awards on your mantle, or your ranking on a list, but by the quality of the love you leave behind and the character you build when the cameras are turned off. Rick Moranis didn't lose his career. He won his life, proving that the most legendary role an actor can ever play is the one that no one else gets to see, but everyone eventually feels.